This is Jody Meyer, Chair of the Historic Resources Commission. I will go ahead and call to order the September 15th, 2022 meeting. Avery, would you like to give the preliminary information?
Yes, thank you, Chair Meyer. This is Avery Kerner, planning staff, and I have just a few housekeeping items for tonight's hybrid meeting. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast on the city's YouTube channel and cable channel 25. For those participating via Zoom, please remember to mute yourself during the meeting when you are not speaking. Unless you are participating during the meeting, please also turn your video off. This allows the active meeting participants to be seen on screen. When you are participating, please keep your video on. We also ask that everyone state their name each time they speak to ensure that everyone is able to follow along. And with that, I'll turn the meeting back over to the chair.
Thank you. This is Jody Meyer, Chair again. We will go ahead and take a roll call vote of members for this evening's meeting. Kelly Irby, looks like she is not here. Commissioner Johnson.
Commissioner Johnson here.
Commissioner Ezell.
Commissioner Ezell here.
Commissioner Klein.
Commissioner Jen Klein here.
Commissioner Coleman.
Commissioner Coleman here.
And Commissioner Hawley appears to not be here. So we do have quorum this evening. We will move on to the first item on the agenda, which is communications. Have we received communications from other commissions, the State Historic Preservation Officer, or the general public?
Lynn Braddock-Zollner, Historic Resources Administrator. We did get a communication from the State Historic Preservation Officer about the Henry Waters House at 1124 New Jersey Street, which will be on the next Historic Sites Board of Review for listing in the National Register of Historic Places. Typically, the commission reviews these nominations and makes a recommendation to that board if appropriate.
This is Chair Meyer again. Thank you. Was there any public comment on this item?
This is Avery Kerner, planning staff. I do not believe there's any public comment on this item.
This is Chair Meyer again. Thank you. I have read through the communication from the SHPO, and I am certainly in favor of the project. I should say I'm happy, Lynn, if you think that we should send a letter in support of that project. I'm happy to do that. Or if it's not necessary, then also that as well.
Lynn Braddock-Zollner, Historic Resources Administrator. Yes, in the past, the commission has taken a vote whether or not to support the nomination and send a letter to the Historic Sites Board of Review stating support for the nomination.
Chair Meyer again, thank you. I will go ahead then and move that we send the letter in support. Is there a second?
Commissioner Johnson, second.
Chair Meyer, there's been a motion and a second, so I will take a roll call vote. Commissioner Johnson?
Commissioner Johnson, yes.
Commissioner Ezell?
Commissioner Ezell, yes.
Commissioner Klein?
Commissioner Klein, yes.
And Commissioner Coleman?
Commissioner Coleman, yes.
Okay, well, that motion carries then 5-0. Moving on then to the next item on the agenda is a disclosure of ex parte communications. Have there been any regarding other agenda items this evening? Does not appear to be. There's declaration of abstentions from specific agenda items by commissioners. Do we have any of those this evening? No. All right then, do we have any committee reports?
Lynn Braddock-Zollner, Historic Resources Administrator. We did have an architectural review committee meeting about Black Stag Brewery's awning addition. The applicant was not available to attend the meeting. The committee did look at some design options, but determined that they really couldn't come up with any benefit to the applicant without them there to take part in the conversation. So that meeting will be rescheduled.
Mrs. Termeyer, okay. Thank you, Lynn. We will move on then to our consent agenda this evening. We have a number of design review applications that have already been administratively reviewed and approved by staff. Is there any public comment on these items?
This is Avery Kerner, planning staff. There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you. This is Chair Meyer again. We will bring it back to the committee for discussion or a motion.
Commissioner Klein moves approval of the design review applications which have been administratively reviewed and approved by staff.
Is there a second?
This is Commissioner Ezell. I second.
All right, that has been a motion by Commissioner Klein, a second by Commissioner Ezell. We'll go ahead and take a roll call vote. Commissioner Johnson?
Commissioner Johnson, yes.
Commissioner Ezell?
Commissioner Ezell, yes.
Commissioner Klein?
Commissioner Klein, yes.
Commissioner Coleman?
Commissioner Coleman, yes.
And Commissioner Meyer is a yes, so that motion carries 5-0 to confirm the design review applications. Is there any just general public comment this evening?
Were any of you wanting to provide public comment? This is Avery Kerner, planning staff. There is no general public comment.
This is Chair Meyer again. We will move on then to our public hearing items portion of the agenda, of which we have one this evening, DR-22-00270, which is 836 West 21st Street.
Good evening, Commissioners. Lynn Braddock-Zollner, Historic Resources Administrator for the city. This is a design review application for an addition to the property located. Sorry, I just lost my screen. Hold on, technical challenges. All right, here we go. It is an addition to the property located at 836 West 21st Street. The property is located in the environs of the double hyperbolic paraboloid house located at 934 West 21st Street. This is the project location. It's here outlined in blue. If you'll notice, this is West 21st Street. The only access to the property, is through a small driveway. Here is the structure, and it's kind of on an angle when related to the 21st Street. Over on the left side of the screen is the double hyperbolic paraboloid house. This is the front of the existing structure, and we'll just quickly go around. This is a close-up view of the driveway area. This is the back of the structure where the addition will be located. It is a 597 square foot addition. Just a little bit of a different angle there. And to the side. And then showing the yard. And the attachment location. This is a site plan showing again that odd shaped lot. What's important to note on the site plan is that the addition is an irregular shape. So when you're looking at those elevations, keep in mind that there's a little zigzag in the overall new addition. This is the north elevation of the structure or the addition. And the south elevation. This is the east elevation. And the west elevation. And you'll see this is that stair step back for the different location. Staff is recommending approval of the certificate of appropriateness for the structure. It's about 15.5 feet tall. It will be clad with fiber cement lap siding and have a composition shingle roof. And like I mentioned, it's 597 square feet, a very small addition. Standard 9 and the illustrative review criteria apply to the project. So staff is recommending approval of the certificate of appropriateness, as the proposed project will not significantly encroach on, damage, or destroy the landmark or its environs. And I'd be happy to stand for any questions you might have.
All right, this is Chair Meyer again. Was there any public comment on this item? Or is the applicant present either way?
This is Avery Kerner, planning staff. There's no public comment for this item, and I do not see the applicant via Zoom.
Okay. This is Chair Meyer, then we'll just bring it back to the commission for discussion. I'll just say that this property area is a very unique kind of area of three houses, or it's right there by Lawrence High School. So my children go to school there. I see it I feel like every single day. And it's kind of like a single driveway that goes back to those houses that kind of branches out. I mean, maybe it technically, legally speaking, isn't. But that particular house angles back towards the Lawrence High baseball field and the south parking lot. And it actually it's tucked back there quite so far that I don't even know how you would see the back of the house. It would be hard to see the back of the house, I would think. And the historic property is 2 houses over on the corner. So I'm supportive of approving the project as it is. Go ahead, Jeannie.
I'll just say this is in my neighborhood, and I didn't even know it was there. Because I see the house in front of it with the red door that's on the street, and I had forgotten that there's actually, I know Sven's house is to the one side of it, and I didn't even know the other house was over there. And so really, in terms of sight lines, it would only affect, the baseball players on the sports field. So. And I probably don't think they'd be paying much attention to it anyway while they're playing ball. So I'm in favor of the project as well.
Commissioner Coleman, I agree with what you've all said, and also would like to add that I think the addition is appropriate to the house and to the environs. So I don't see any problem with it.
Well, and this is Commissioner Johnson. I don't see any problem with it either. I do just have a question out of curiosity. How did this lot get that way? do we know?
Lynn Braddock-Zollner, Historic Resources Administrator. I too wondered that when this application came forward and did not have the opportunity to do the deed research, but it is a very unique lot.
Yeah.
And the house that is there to the west looks very historic. Eyeballing it from the street.
Lynn Braddock-Zollner, Historic Resources Administrator. That house is actually listed in the Register of Historic Places for Kansas.
Okay. Well, and you can, as you're coming up, I believe it's Carolina Street that runs into 21st Street right there. As you stop at that stop sign, this property area is right there, maybe just a little bit to the east, but you always see it dead on, so.
Like I say, it's behind the house with the red door.
Yeah.
So it's way behind. I didn't know it was there. And then there's another house, like I say, on the west side as well, that's uniquely designed.
So do we need a motion?
This is Chair Meyer. Yes, we would need a motion. I'll just go ahead and move that in accordance with Chapter 22 of the Code of the City of Lawrence, the standards of evaluation find that the proposed project will not significantly encroach on, damage, or destroy the landmarks or their environs, and issue the certificate of appropriateness for the proposed project. Is there a second?
Commissioner Klein seconds.
All right, there's been a motion by Commissioner Meyer, a second by Commissioner Klein. We'll go ahead and take a roll call vote. Commissioner Johnson,
Commissioner Johnson, yes.
Commissioner Ezell,
Commissioner Ezell, yes.
Commissioner Klein,
Commissioner Klein, yes.
Commissioner Coleman,
Commissioner Coleman, yes.
and Commissioner Meyer is an aye, so that motion carries 5-0. All right, we will then move on to the miscellaneous items portion of the evening, of which it appears there is one, which is L-22-27, a public hearing for consideration of placing the structure located at 1709 Louisiana Street on the Lawrence Register of Historic Places.
Lynn Braddock-Zollner, Historic Resources Administrator. That intro was pulled from a previous agenda. The Historic Resources Commission did recommend this property for approval to the City Commission to be listed in the Lawrence Register of Historic Places. When we were getting together the information to get on a City Commission agenda, staff noticed that the resolution had the wrong criteria identified in the resolution that did not match the staff report and what the commission had approved. And so before you this evening, I went ahead and put the staff report in there for your reference, but we would just need for you to adopt the new resolution that has the appropriate criteria associated with the staff report. I'd be happy to stand for any questions you might have.
Well, this is Chair Meyer. I would just move then that we adopt that.
Commissioner Coleman, I agree with you.
This is Chair Meyer again. All right, there's been a motion and a second, so we'll take a roll call vote on that. Commissioner Johnson,
Commissioner Johnson, yes.
Commissioner Ezell,
Commissioner Ezell, yes.
Commissioner Klein,
Commissioner Klein, yes.
Commissioner Coleman,
Commissioner Coleman, yes.
and Commissioner Meyer is an aye, so that motion carries 5-0.
Lynn
And with
Braddock-Zollner.
Go
Lynn
ahead.
Braddock-Zollner, Historic Resources Administrator. We do have another miscellaneous item for your consideration this evening. There is 3 variance requests for the Turnholla project that will be before the Board of Zoning Appeals this coming month. Because the property is listed in the Lawrence Register of Historic Places, Chapter 22 allows the Historic Resources Commission to make comment on those variances. The variants are reduction in parking from 152 required parking spaces to 32 spaces, and the 32 spaces will be across 9th Street and the vacant parking lot that's currently owned by the Lawrence Preservation Alliance. A rear setback from 12 feet to 0 feet. If you recall, you approved the drawings for this project, for the Turnholla project, with that 0-foot setback. And then the impervious surface requirement of 80% to 82% coverage for that lot, which is based on the design that you also approved for the Turnholla. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have on those.
This is Chair Meyer. I don't remember when we saw that project, if we discussed parking. Maybe we did. I don't recall that.
This is Commissioner Coleman. We discussed parking across the street from the Turnholla, across 9th Street, I believe, in a lot that the Lawrence Preservation Alliance purchased when they owned Turnholla. But I don't think we discussed that. Well, we did not discuss any other parking being installed on the site, and we did discuss that existing lot on the opposite side of the
Okay.
street.
You have a better memory than I do about that.
And I assume that the impervious percentage of the lot is mostly taken up by the building. There might be a couple sidewalks, but it from my memory also, they were increasing, the size of the building with the addition. And so the amount of impervious lot is increased as well because of that addition. And what was the third thing? I'm sorry.
The zero.
The rear setback from 12 feet required to 0 feet.
Well, this is Chair Meyer. I suppose, Lynn, you just want our commentary about that. I assume, for example, that we're supportive of the variance request.
Lynn Braddock-Zollner, Historic Resources Administrator. If you would want to comment on this and your support, that would be appropriate.
Okay. Well, I think I personally am supportive of that. I mean, I'll let the other commissioners chime in about their preferences.
Commissioner Coleman is supportive as well.
And Commissioner Johnson, I'm supportive as well. And I think the reduction in parking is such a good idea to make this work and to not add more impervious surface to somewhere where there probably isn't a place for it.
So I think that generally the commission is supportive of the variance request.
Lynn Braddock-Zollner, Historic Resources Administrator. I will forward those comments to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Mrs. Chair Meyer, thank you. Any other miscellaneous items? Well, since it appears that we have run out of miscellaneous items and other items, I will move that we adjourn unless anyone has an objection. All right, seeing none, then we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you. Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.